tarot tips.
And for a feel-good hangout with you guys to have some fun, stay sane, and just vibe together.
And for those of you who are just getting to know us,
I'm Heather.
And I'm David.
From Zen Rose Garden.
TipsCome, home of Zen.Ht Academy. So we built Zen Rose Garden in 2008 to help people through some of the hardest traumas and emotional upsets of life.
So we want to bring you some feel-good and support.
Now, we do have a quick offer at the end for those of you that want more.
As well as some free stuff just to say thank you for hanging out with us.
So be sure to stick around for that.
All right.
And as you guys come on, let us know that you are here with a hashtag live tribe, or if you're watching on the replay, hashtag replay fam. And as always, if you have any questions as we go, drop them in the comments. I'm crazy that way.
He is, but we do take our job as teachers very seriously, shenanigans aside, to help you guys gain a solid sense of spiritual self-reliance so you can be resilient and bounce back when you faceplant on the sidewalk of life, because you know we all been there.
Yep.
Got the tattoo and everything.
The tattoo, the t-shirt, and the hat.
All of it.
So first all, let us take a really good deep breath and just let go. Imagine all of the fears, the doubts, the pains, the hurts from your past that you have been wasting all of that energy on something that is already gone, and releasing all of that, reclaiming all of that energy and bringing it back to right here, right now. And imagine all of the future, the worries, the concerns, the fears, the doubts, the insecurities, everything that you have in the future, and all that energy you've been wasting. Imagine releasing all of those fears and doubts and insecurities and reclaiming all of that energy and bringing all of that back to right here, right now, with us, hanging out as we get busy.
Shake it off.
Shake it off.
Yeah, I need that like every day to keep getting reminded to stay in the present moment.
Mona, Debbie, good to see you guys. Yes. All right.
So let's have some fun. We're going to play the emoji game.
So let us play the emoji game. For those of you who already know how to play, get ready to rumble. And for everybody else, here's how it goes down. As we go through the tip of the day, you pick the emoji that you think fits best, and we will pick our favorite at the end and pull a card for the winner.
Yes.
Winner chicken dinner. That's a Vegas thing.
So yeah, it is.
It is.
Is winner chicken dinner a Vegas thing? I know. I want to talk about uncertainty today. But there's so many uncertainties that we're living with on the day-to-day, right? Things are like one thing in the news one day, another thing in the news. And so there's all these competing sides and this total polarity that's going on. That's kind of nasty. It's kind of ugly. It's kind of crazy. It's not fun. But I've thought about this morning when I got up. I'm like, if there is one certainty in life, it is that life is going to change. And
that is the most certain thing.
And there is another certainty in life, is that none of us get out of life alive. So there's
also
also a certainty. So if there is one certainty,
although if I could bypass that,
trying to be a vampire that doesn't drink blood and kill people, that would be good. So if there is one certainty, it is that life is going to change. And if there is one certainty, it is that life and the events of life are subjective to our experience.
Right. Often we jump into any kind of a situation before we know all the facts. And there's one thing for certain. We will probably never know all of the facts of any given situation at any given time.
So I remember being really frustrated after a big breakup, a big divorce, actually, where there were so many competing sides and so much information and nobody really got the real story. And I could have either gone crazy and done this massive damage control and set the record straight on all sides of the equation. But I thought in that moment, I learned a big lesson. I said, I can either waste my resources on trying to prove that my character's good, trying to prove myself, or I can just know that I'm right with myself and go from there. So for me, I brought all those resources back into a very chaotic situation and said, I have to be right with myself. I have to look myself in the mirror every day. It doesn't matter what you think of me. There's so many facts running around, facts, which are myths the next day. Then I really need to be right with myself. And that's where it starts, is your house, and your house meaning your heart.
Right.
Right.
And today, more than ever, it is very important to remember that the facts may not always be present, and they may be ever changing. We could get worked up about one thing one day, only to find out that we didn't have all the facts the next day.
And like, oh, wow, I feel like an idiot.
Right. How many people have had that leather shoe put in their mouth the next day when they were like, oh, I got all worked up on that, and I probably should not have, because it totally changed.
I didn't know he was a serial killer. Oops.
He was my favorite boyfriend, and then I found out he killed my mom.
We've all done it.
Bad
Right.
things.
So anyway.
Slow down.
Slow down.
Observe, release the attachment, and be more in the flow of the thing. Let people work out the drama before you jump in.
Well, here's the thing about letting people work the drama out, right? Number one, most of what's going on in the world is not your personal story. Most of it. Some people, it is a personal story, and that's okay. We're all, like someone posted a few months back, we're all in a different part of the storm. Right. But we can all have empathy for the storm, but that doesn't mean we have to lose our sense of centering and grounding, because somebody's got to hold the life raft, right? Somebody's got to put the mask on the child in the airplane that's losing oxygen. All of those things call you to be more centered in your heart. Watch and observe, then decide what you're going to do with your life and your emotions.
But first, put that thing on yourself.
Right, that's what.
Then you can put it on the kid.
Did I see it at the opposite? Yeah.
Because if you have no consciousness, if you're not present, you cannot be present for that child or for anybody else for that matter. So the question then is...
So yeah, I just screwed that analogy up.
That's fine. I came into rescue. I put the mask on myself and I'm like, what is she saying?
Yeah.
Okay, let me help her.
Apparently I don't have enough oxygen to my brain this morning. So anyway, my point is, watch and observe first.
Yes.
Is your life in order?
Right.
Are you coming from love and peace, or reaction?
Yes.
Like gut primal reaction where, oh, that's not right, I'm going to jump in. Watch, take a deep breath, slow your roll. Right. Don't jump in yet. See what happens.
And we've got a story to illustrate that in just a moment. But I wanted to say, what is up? Give a big shout out to Aaron, to Julie, to Cheryl, Mona once again. And who else? Debbie. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Absolutely. Bingo. Right on time as always.
Hell yeah. So I want to remind you guys to drop an emoji that
in the comments
that you think goes with this talk we're having this morning, and we'll pick a winner.
And Cheryl says, good morning, humans. So thankful you are here. Had my trailer hooked up to the back of the struggle bus this morning. Hashtag live tribe. Yes. And again, recognize whether it is your struggle bus or you're trying to drive somebody else's struggle bus.
So many times we try to drive everybody else's struggle bus, right? That doesn't mean we are detached and non-sympathetic with the person's situation.
Or non-engaged.
Right. So there's a level of it that is healthy and a level that is not healthy. So
there is a big difference between engagement and attachment. And the story that we're going to tell you right now is going to kind of illustrate that.
So I love this story. I tell it over and over through the years to my kids, I have a kids.
Strangers.
To clients, not strangers. Strangers that pay me money for a coaching session. Okay. So this is a story. It's an old story. It's an old Taoist story of an old farmer who had worked his crops for many, many years. And one day his horse ran away, the horse that helped him work on his crops. And the neighbors heard the news and they said, such bad luck, terrible. And the farmer went, maybe not.
Right. So the next morning, the horse came back with friends. 3 older wild horses. How wonderful, the neighbors said.
And so the farmer said, maybe not. And then the next day, his son tried to ride one of the wild horses and broke his leg.
The neighbor said, what bad, horrible luck.
And
farmer said, maybe not.
Right? It's like non-attachment to the outcome. All the facts haven't played out yet. The next day, the military rolled through the village to draft all the young men into the army, but the son's leg was broken.
Not good enough.
So they passed it by.
And the neighbor said, what good luck.
And the farmer was like, maybe not.
So the farmer to me is very, very, very much like Yoda, right? Not attached, very much engaged and fluid with what's going on around them, but not attached.
So
and that's the key. That's the key right there.
So, I mean, the story could go on and on and on. If that was
maybe not.
Right. I mean, if that was my story, I mean, our son, Christian, he's in boot camp right now. If like he had broken his leg and not been able to go to the army, it would have been terrible for him. So he's loving getting into the training he's always wanted to do. So the story can go on and on and on. And we all have our own subjective view of reality, our own perception.
Right.
We don't know what's in another person's head, but at times like this in our world, we try to, we're in a panic. So we're trying to find people that are like us and that are not like us. Who is like me and who is not like me.
And that's on a primal animal brain level.
That's the way your primal brain works. And when you are looking for who's like me and who's not like me, you know that you're working from a primal place in your mind. And that's not helpful at all unless you're facing down a lion in the Serengeti is going to eat your head.
Do they even live in the Serengeti?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Lions live somewhere that you probably don't want to hang out.
I think lions live in the Serengeti. So sometimes what my point is we are fused to our stories. We are fused and attached to our stories so heavily, like the neighbors were fused to their stories because it was the initial brunt of the story, the shock that was like they associated it with something good or bad in their mind. And
they were reactionary instead of responsive.
So sometimes we're fused to our stories or the stories of others, or our past experiences get fused to current situations. And we need a little distance and perspective until we can see what the ultimate reality is. So there is the situation and there is the story that we create about the situation.
And that story is based on all of our stories from the past.
So I want to tell you a personal story that is really messed up that happened to me.
Before we get to that story, I want you guys to remember, drop your emojis in the comments. Yes, Mona, that means you too. Drop emojis. If you don't have access to emojis, drop some hashtags.
Yes.
We will accept those too. Drop them in the comments. While Heather goes through her story, what emojis or hashtags do you believe fits these tips the best?
I really like this topic because it's always fascinated me. And I think it's I think it's something that hit me in a lot of ways when I was younger, because I grew up in a very opinionated, passionate family. And I was the seventh child, and there was a 10-year gap between me and my older siblings. So I already had this like attitude of observing because I was kind of like an only child in a big family, So when I was in 6th grade, which is, I think I was 12 years old, I had a new teacher, and I was really sad in 6th grade because there was a lot of emotional turmoil in my house. So I was kind of a solemn kid in 6th grade. I was quiet. I kept to myself. I was pretty shy, if you can believe it. And I didn't really smile a lot. So I didn't look quite happy all the time, but I stayed to myself, and the friends that I had, and I did my work. Well, we had a new teacher come in, and she, surprisingly, I don't really remember what our engagement was with each other, but she called a parent-teacher conference with my mom, and my mom came in. She's like, I don't know what it's about. I said, I don't know what it's about. And she sat down with me and the teacher, and she said, I want to talk to you about Heather's attitude. She seems like she is always giving me dirty looks. She doesn't like me. She has a bad attitude towards the teacher, and she's just always giving me these dirty, nasty looks.
What she had was a case of resting Heather face.
I did. Apparently at 12, I had resting bitch face. So
I said Heather face.
Yes, but I said resting bitch face.
Okay.
It was resting sad face.
Okay.
I was going through some heavy emotional stuff because my parents were fighting. It was just all the time. There was, it was kind of like all my siblings were out of the house and grown up. It was just me and kind of an emotionally. So I was sad. So that was an example that's always stuck with me, because at 12 years old, I looked at this adult, supposed to be an adult, who was in charge of me and to protect me and teach me. And I was so shocked, and my mom was so shocked. My mom had my back, by the way. She didn't take the teacher's side. She was like, what are you saying? And it taught me something about perception in that moment that I will never forget. And that is to never judge a person by what you think you see initially.
Right.
I mean, they might just have this resting bitch face. Just because they look a certain way and they're looking at you doesn't mean they're giving you a dirty look.
They might be going through a horrible day.
They're mad dogging you.
Mhm.
You know, when at the time I could have used a compassionate teacher, which later on she actually got fired, by the way, and not my fault, but maybe, I don't know, my mom, knowing my mom, she probably called the principal.
Right.
But we had a new teacher come in who was actually quite sympathetic and saw my situation. So that was very healing for me. But it taught me something, that adults are not always right. And now that I'm adult, I see it's very clear to me. So we have to remember to always have innocent eyes, to always have neutral eyes, and to not just assume that someone is looking at us in a direction in one way that they're mad dogging us, because they might not be. And we forget this. We have to continually be reminded, because we can react so quickly with that primal mind.
Yep. And I love how Mona says it's all about perspective.
It so is, isn't it?
And then Aaron says perception. Both of those are absolutely true. But more importantly, it depends on the attachment to the situation, the attachment to the story, the attachment to the facts, the attachment to stand up and become a righteous fighter for the facts. Recognize that you probably will never have all of the facts. As we mentioned earlier, be fluid, be in the moment. Yes, evolve. Yes, become more of your better self, but don't get caught up in the tidal wave of drama that other people may have attached to a particular situation.
Well, no event in and of itself can truly be judged or bad until the end. You don't really know. Like, a really bad situation can bring out really positive results, and a really positive situation can bring some negative results. So you don't really know. And even then the story continues and continues.
Because there's always a new end to any given story.
And not just the story, but many versions of the story. So we can only, as humans, like, clean up little areas as we can and continue moving forward. We would love it to be wiped clean and everything be perfect, but we're always going to have levels of bullies and mean people and people that are reacting from their wounds. And we don't have to put up with it, is what I'm saying. I'm saying, but you can bring a better you to the situation.
Right.
So in all situations, sad things happen and hopeful things happen.
Right.
This is life. It is always, it has never not been so.
Right.
But how is your house and your emotions and your heart?
How are your relationships? How are you on the inside? Okay. How is your story? And if you find yourself in a moment of attachment or reaction, work on your button and allow more of the responsiveness to come to the surface. Train yourself more to be responsive instead of reactive.
There's a big difference. In reaction, we're reacting from our primal mind, and we don't have full access to our higher cognitive functions.
Mona is on one today.
When we respond from our heart, we're actually responding literally from a different part of our brain, from the frontal cortex parts of our brain, where we're managing our responses better in a healthier way. And they're two completely different parts of the brain that respond to any situation. So when we're panicking, we're going to respond with that primal mind and maybe do some dumb shit.
Yeah. And when we're chilling out and we're doing more Yoda stuff, we're responding from that more evolved part of the brain that knows how to chill out. So one of the things to get there, and this is the purpose and reason for things like meditation, is to build the bridge to your assessment center instead of your reaction center.
Right. And I think we talked about this in another video a few months back about the me center.
Yes.
How we judge people by, are you like me or are you not like me? But I see in the last few months, you see people that are like you part of the time, but not like you another part of the time. So there's no clear cut. There's no clear cut division with people. You just can't. We're so complex with so many different beliefs that we hold that we change all the time. So it's very difficult to be black and white as much as we'd like to, like, wave a magic wand and everybody be the same. It's just not going to happen. So we have to come to the table with our truest, calmest, most peaceful self. And I think when you're reacting with that primal mind, you can only see the exit, right? You can only see the exit and the weapon. when you're responding with the frontal parts of your mind that you strengthen through meditation. No, opposite. That you strengthen through meditation, spiritual practice, knowing yourself.
Contemplation.
Then you not just see the exit, you see multiple opportunities. You can
Avenues,
see the whole picture. You can have a conversation. So that's where we are in the world right now, and in the microcosm of our relationships. Is, are you seeing just the exit, or are you seeing many options? And that's what tarot's about.
Right. And because there are always opportunities before you, it's up to you whether you have the clarity to be able to see the opportunities presented, because everything can be an opportunity if you know how to respond instead of react. So we're going to bring this into tarot like we always do, and we're going to talk a little bit about the card that kind of fits this energy the best. And today that card is the Hermit.
Yes, I should have given you guys a quiz and been like, can you guess what card would go with it? Can you guess
what card goes with it?
But it's too late, David. I didn't have the foresight to.
You did not, and you didn't tell me either.
So
to me, the Hermit card is Yoda. I mean, without a doubt, really? Yoda is the Hermit.
So the Hermit we think of as someone who's seeking all the truth and seeking all the answers, but really the Hermit's already found it. The Hermit is the ultimate decaf, but not in a bad way, just in bringing a sense of humor to the situation, because the Hermit's been through so many life situations. It's seen so many changes of empires and regimes and kings and situations and attitudes that the Hermit is just like, he's like the farmer in the story.
Exactly.
Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. I got my lantern with my star in it. I know myself. I have my eye on the prize. I'm going to watch the drama and observe and do right with my house. So,
Marshina, good to see you. Hello from the Netherlands. Yes. Awesome. Ernest says, elbow cough. Awesome. Ernest, Aaron, whatever. I don't really know what to call you over here. And I will call Aaron out, and I will say that he is one of our newest Zen heads. So thank you for joining us here, and thank you for joining us in Zen Academy. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but I did want to give a shout out to Martina from the Netherlands.
So really, it's really about trusting the star in your own lantern, right? Trusting your own light, and not being distracted by all the other sparkles. It's the one that guides you personally in your heart, and it all starts with you. It's like, be the change you want to see in the world, like Gandhi said.
Right. And Cheryl says, #Baby Yoda. Great wisdom has he. React quickly, he does not.
Exactly. Like I said, unless there's a lion and you need to throw a steak real fast. But it means be kind. Because kindness is contagious. And
kindness is absolutely contagious.
It's up to each person to choose their reaction.
Or response.
But our reactions or responses can change one person and then another to the positive or to the negative. So we have, right now in our world, we have multiple viruses happening, right? Not just COVID. We've got multiple viruses. And how are you going to show up? What kind of virus are you going to spread?
And are you inoculated to the negative virus? And do you spread that positive virus like a contagion? Right? Love it.
True. Okay.
Yeah, I figured that out, Aaron. I figured that out yesterday, that it was actually you, and I'm like, oh, that's who that is. Anyway, and Mona says, wisdom, introspection, a seeker, definitely. Jenny, good to see you. Jenny from the block. We've got so many Zen heads here. It's crazy, and I freaking love it. If you guys are catching this on the replay and you want to be a part of our live audience and you want to get a chance to get your card read playing the emoji game, be sure to check out our events calendar at zenrosegarden.com/events. You can check that out and see when and where we're going to be live next. So go ahead and drop your emojis in the comments, and I will pick a winner here in just a moment. Mona says, kindness heals people.
It does, right?
Absolutely. Good vibes, says Aaron. I just love that Cheryl thing.
I would challenge anyone to see where kindness actually caused harm. I mean, I know that's a pretty loaded question, but it's possible. But I mean, it's less likely to cause harm, right? Than just about
less likely, yes.
Somebody could be allergic to kindness. I don't know.
I'm thinking codependence, but you know, there's a borderline between kindness and codependence.
I just might have opened a hornet's nest.
I know you just did. Anyway, so let's see, the virus of fear, seeds of calm, hope, and kindness. Yes, plant that, water that. Why, Cheryl? Why with the eggplant? I don't get it. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. She's just crazy.
Just egregious.
She is totally egregious. All right, so today's winner is going to be picked in just a minute. Pick me.
Pick me a winner so I can shuffle these cards.
Today's winner is Heather. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Today's winner is Mona. Mona Kimmel, you are the winner. Kimmel, not Kimmel.
Like Jimmy Kimmel.
Like Jimmy, yeah.
So I'm going to shuffle the cards for Mona. I feel like I have this deja vu of pulling a card for you. Maybe I pulled a card for you before. I'm just having a deja vu.
Maybe.
But you win. So wow, the cards are being cantankerous. They're not wanting to go back together. Okay, so maybe you're a little cantankerous today.
A little bit.
Let's see what we have for you. Okay, so
she says hashtag thanks, Doc. She's also the one I called out earlier. So you know, it's a good thing that you got called out so you could actually drop some.
I love the name Mona, by the way. It's one of my favorite names. So I pulled the Ace of Swords for you, which the aces are all about a new beginning of some kind, right? In the generic numerology sense. But the Ace of Swords is about going after what you want without all of the fluff, without all of the extra. It is about essentializing. It is about stripping away the things that don't matter. Things that you thought mattered before don't really matter as much, right? It's sometimes when we're building a business or we think we want certain things in a relationship or in a house or anything, we have all these extra things that we think are essential, but they're really just extra things. And we strip it down to what it's like asking the 5 whys. Why do I want this? Okay, then why do I want that? Why do I want that? And eventually come down to the most simple, essential, basic question.
So the 5 whys is a technique to get deeper into maybe your motivation or why you're doing something or why you're drawn to something or why you're motivated, why you're passionate, whatever it is. It's a 5-layered why question. So you ask the initial why, and then yes, but why that? Why that? Go down five levels, and within that, you're going to find that thing that just really hits home, typically.
So the Ace of Swords is telling me, I pulled the second card because I wanted a qualifier for it because I felt like there was an unanswered question. So whatever it is that you are seeking to improve in your life, love, relationship, business, whatever,
guacamole,
strip away everything that is not essential. It is time to get down to the nakedness of it. The story about Inanna going down into the underworld to meet her sister, who's the queen of the underworld. She goes with her 7 magical clothes on, I think what that story goes, and she goes down through the gates of hell, but through every gate she can't pass through the gate unless she strips away one of those things that she thought was going to protect her. So in the end, she gets to the end and she's completely naked. She's gotten rid of all her defenses that she thought she needed, and she's made it to her goal. So there's more to that story, but the point is that so many times we have defenses and mechanisms that we think are protecting us and helping us, or that we think are adding something of value, and they're really just weighing us down.
Or subconsciously that our subconscious believes is protecting us. So those layers, as we peel them off and allow ourselves the freedom to be more vulnerable, like Inanna, when she got into the underworld, she had to be actually completely naked to step through. So that's absolute vulnerability. And that is where real strength is.
So it's really about traveling fast and light.
Heather said nakedness.
I did. So I think for you, it's about traveling fast, traveling light, so you can travel more speedy. I pulled a qualifying card for it, which is the 6 of Wands. And so what this is telling me that this is about your desire, because the Wands are about desire and fire and passion and what you want to create for yourself.
And I love how they are both holding up the symbol on
with the wreath,
a stick, right? One's with a stick, one's with a sword, holding up what they actually want.
So they're both about victory. The six of Wands is kind of telling, it's like a celebration, but your crew's there to celebrate. It's different from the 3 of Cups celebration, where you're celebrating something you've accomplished. It's like really happy. We're celebrating the cups. This is more like a celebration of overcoming, a celebration of conquering the enemy at the gate. rather than like the Six of Wands is more specifically, you've conquered the enemy at the gate. You've eliminated the thing that was, hidden that's been holding back whatever your endeavor was. The Three of Cups is another celebration card. It's a little bit differently. So
Aaron says, I love the Six of Wands.
So,
and Harmonia, good to see you.
So I hope that resonates.
Let us know in the comments.
It's super positive and joyful, but it requires you to strip away what is not necessary.
Yeah. And as a bonus, if anybody else wants to do their own reading on this card, go ahead and drop that in the comments, and then Mona can come back later and pick up on those extra readings. So once again, these two cards are the Ace of Swords and the Six of Wands. So if you want to give Mona a reading on these two cards, feel free to pull it out of your butt, drop it in the comments, play, practice.
Sanitize first, please.
Sanitize our comments. Yeah.
This has been fun this morning, guys.
Yes.
I needed to vent a little bit about.
Cheryl says, yes, get me some Six of Wands in this biatch. Let her go.
Yep.
That's it. That is it. Okay. And boom. Boom, 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 boom. I'm also doing music stuff. So boom. I'm just making some shit up. It truly does resonate. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mona, for joining us. And
awesome.
It is now that time. We want to take a moment to quickly tell you about that offer to join our online community where our Zen heads hang out. Some of you guys are here.
Yes.
And where we, as of a couple years ago, teach all of our courses, including our comprehensive tarot course. Matter of fact, all of you Zen heads who are here, why don't you go ahead and tag up with Zen Head for life?
Hell yeah. So Zen Ed Academy was this idea that grew from our love of teaching workshops in Las Vegas since 2008. We wanted to go bigger and decided to create something bigger and global and online.
Yeah. And now social distancing doesn't mean that we have to be disconnected. This is actually a way that we can use technology to our benefit to come together to be supported as well as support others.
So we opened our online school in 2017, where now we have this crazy tribe, and I do mean crazy.
Matter of fact, they're going to be doing some crazy shenanigans this evening in the group because they're crazy like that.
But this tribe of powerhouse students from around the globe who connect and learn and improve their skills 24 hours a day, and we love it.
With all the shenanigans, 7 days a week, 365 and a quarter days a year.
So Zen Ed Academy is a different kind of healing center that fits in the palm of your hand.
And it didn't just happen overnight. We have put all of our education, our experience, and our good mojo into creating a safe space that delivers what has been missing from the spiritual industry for decades.
Like without all the fluff, it's that Ace of Swords thing, right? Without all the nonsense, the extra sugar that some of us can do without.
Right. And it's also not just some pop-up class that is gone when it's done.
He's so dramatic. Like learn to make a crystal grid or stuff you can really, let's be honest, just grab for free on the internet. But these are like meaningful courses with well-researched information, because I'm a nerd like that. Not just the same copy and paste stuff that is everywhere you search.
Yes. You cannot find this stuff on Google. So if you guys want in, we did make it easy to access not just one class, but over 21 and growing seriously deep PhD-backed courses to binge on to your heart's content.
Plus all the lifetime replays.
Be sure to check it out in the description. Yes. Since you guys have watched this far, I also dropped it in the comments, but since you guys have watched this far, be sure to check out the goodies we've got for you. We love giving stuff away. We've got a link in the description below. If you like this video,
hit the like button.
Hit it hard. If you want to see more videos like this,
be sure to subscribe.
And spank that naughty bell to turn notifications on,
so you're the first to know
when we drop a new video.
or go live.
New video. And we know that.
Or go live.
Oh, wow. And we know that time is a valuable and precious resource. And the fact that you guys have chosen to spend that with us, we absolutely honor and appreciate that. But most importantly, that you are here to level up your life, your skills, and take everything to a whole new level. We absolutely honor and appreciate that even more. Thank you guys for watching. Now it's time to check out these videos over here, and over here, and over here. All the videos, check them out, and we will see you guys in the next video.
We love you.
Later.